I just spent a very successful night at a rest stop in Bliss, Idaho. So I'm basically in the middle of nowhere. It's pretty desolate out here, I have to say. The only times I've ever been to this part of Idaho are in the middle of winter. It always seems super brown, very dry. I don't know if it's always like this because I've always been here in the middle of winter, but it is amazing just how much of nothing there is out here. Anyways, I'm off to Monticello, Utah today. So I'm going to be passing through Salt Lake City and then through Moab. I'll be just headed right past Arches National Park. So it's going to be a really cool drive today, I think. And it's only 8 hours. We'll have time to stop. I probably won't be able to go into the national parks or anything like that, but there's still probably going to be some really cool places I'm going to see once I get into Utah. I'm doing my favorite thing when I'm on these 80-mile-an-hour roads. Been following this truck at 70 miles an hour. Hopefully I can get my fuel mileage up here a little bit, but I have the time to do it today. You can see my fuel mileage is only down to a little over 31 miles per gallon. I should be getting closer to 34, 35 normally, but with all of the mountains, the 80-mile-an-hour speed limit, and the strong headwind that I've been in for the last day, my fuel mileage isn't as good as I would like. So I'm just gonna take it easy, follow this truck. I don't really need to be going very fast. Well, I lost my favorite truck. They decided to slow down too much. But I think I might have found a new friend I can follow for a while. Anyways, it's starting to get kind of cold outside. It was about freezing last night when I went to bed, and the temperature has been dropping pretty fast since. We're already down to about 29 degrees. And I can see some mountains off in the distance. I don't think they show up on camera, but they're out there. Well, I stopped at a rest area here just to grab some breakfast, use the bathroom, that sort of thing, and I am actually just north of Salt Lake City. You can tell because there is lots of snow on the ground. It's actually not that cold out though, it's right around freezing. Looking at the map, I'm about to cross into Utah as well. I think I'm only maybe an hour and a half from Salt Lake City, but there's a town called Snowville, which I probably will have to stop and get fuel in. We'll see how much snow is actually there. Well, I think I'm going to take a pass on Snowville. I have plenty of range to make it to Ogden, and I'm willing to bet they have less expensive fuel in Ogden. Though I'm not sure what Utah fuel prices are like, so we'll take a look here as we pass by. And naturally the sign is broken, so I have no idea what fuel prices are here. Well, I just stopped for fuel and it started snowing. I want to talk about the range of the Subaru Crosstrek really quick. So if you notice, it says that I have 510 miles of range there on the right after I just filled up. And that's probably about right. In a lot of other cars that I've driven, I don't let the fuel get below about half a tank when I am on long road trips like this. But on this particular car, I'm more than willing to go down to a third because I have just so much fuel in there. And there's so much reserve range that I'm not really generally ever worried about running out of fuel. Even on this road trip so far, there's been several sections that have had like 150 to 170 miles of distance where there weren't any service stations. I usually just check my range, make sure I'm well over the distance between gas stations, and then I'm good to go. I don't really have to worry about fuel too much in this car. It just holds so much, and I really appreciate that. Most modern cars don't seem to hold much fuel at all. Well, I just passed Moab and Arches National Park, and I have to say I'm glad I decided not to even try to stop there. Just so much traffic and so many people, lots of very expensive vehicles, people flying in private jets, all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. I think partly it's just spring break, but I'm gonna keep going. My next stop should be in about another 50 miles. So my plan was to go up into a campground just kind of up on that hill over there, but seeing the amount of snow that's here, I don't know if I can get down the road or not. We'll find out. One of the things I've noticed on this trip is that this car doesn't have any power up at altitude. I'm up in the high desert here, so I don't know exactly what altitude I'm at, but I think I'm actually fairly high up, and I can barely do 35 uphill on this road here. The road isn't that steep. I should be able to do it in third gear without having to downshift a second, but that's what altitude does for you. I should also point out that I did check the weather ahead of time, and it's not supposed to get super cold tonight. And I don't see any snow in the forecast. So if I can get onto a campground, then I should be all set. One of the reasons I got the Subaru Crosstrek is because it has really good ground clearance, and this is exactly why. The ground is perfectly fine up where the tires go, but there's a good lump in the middle of the track here that I have to drive over. And if I had
turn left onto Forest Road 0081, then your destination will be on the right.
If I had less ground clearance, I wouldn't be able to drive down this road.
Stay on Forest Road 0081.
Well, there's the entrance to the campground right there. So all I have to do is drive over that 3-foot snowbank and then end up in a couple of feet of snow. Also, the road ends right there, so I guess I'm not going that way. Well, I guess it's time for my backup plan. So backup plan is just to continue down the road until I find a rest stop and just spend the night there. Well, on the plus side, the view from up here is really great.
Turn right onto Ski Lift Road.
Okay, so I have found, I think, what is probably the next rest area or place where I can actually spend the night. And it's going to be in New Mexico. So I have about a 358-mile drive ahead of me. So what I thought was going to be an early day is actually going to be a really late day. But that's okay, it just means I get to spend more time in the warm part of the country. It's never a good sign when traffic comes to a halt and there's a bunch of flashing red lights ahead. While I'm sitting here, let me tell you about Dove Creek, Colorado. So Dove Creek is a town of about 634 people according to Wikipedia. They grow sunflower seeds and safflower and canola, and they have a processing plant for those. And that's what brings people to the town. They also have a ready mix plant, apparently. So that's all of Dove Creek, Colorado. Another news, since I've been sitting here, I've been looking for another place where I can stop. And I think I might take the risk at a Colorado rest area. So apparently they have signs up that say no overnight parking, but there's no enforcement apparently on that, and they allow people to do it all the time. So hopefully I'll have good luck and I won't get any knocks on my window in the middle of the night, but it definitely beats driving hours to a rest stop in New Mexico, where it definitely is allowed. The problem up here right now is that there are a lot of campgrounds in the area, but they're down roads that are covered in, several feet of snow. And so I can't really get down those. This is what it looks like outside. It was very difficult to see where I was going. I couldn't see more than about 20 feet in front of me while I was driving, so I am glad I finally made it to the rest area. I'm definitely not the only one spending the night here, so at least I'm not alone if I get kicked out. To check out the weather, but I have like a week's worth of food in here, so I'm good until the roads get clear, whatever happens. But anyways, I think that's going to be it for tonight.